No, not, I mean,
Oh, everyone
things
is
are
dying.
changing at a rapid pace these days.
Things are changing at a very rapid pace. So we felt like we would go on live. I don't think many people know we're on live, so we might just give people a minute to see that we're on live. If you'd
Yeah.
like.
I posted a little bit earlier, like an hour or two ago, and just wanted to cut some people over here. But yep, I think
Yeah.
we'll see. We'll see what people.
And people can always watch this when we're done talking
when we're
and
done.
chime in later. And feel free to leave questions later on, and we'll be sure to answer them together.
Yes, as always.
Together we will.
Together, for sure.
Okay, so let's talk about the obvious Rebel. What is going on out there?
The drought?
What is going on? It's so crazy. It's like, I feel like 2 weeks ago I was watching news. I was like, huh. And I, it like got in there. And then 2 weeks later, it's like, bam.
The world has changed.
It's changed. It felt like it changed like in one day.
Yeah.
I feel like
and I don't know about, I don't know about you, but I'm getting tons of questions online about what should I do? What should I do with my practice? What should I do? Should I continue? Should I? And I think at this point, the answer is pretty obvious. We've gotten all sorts of, I wouldn't say demands, but strong suggestions from every authority possible saying, close down, just close down. It's the smartest thing to do. Stay safe. I mean, at this point, governments are requiring and requesting heavily that we hunker down and lock down. So I just think that's kind of where we're at.
And I couldn't agree more. We actually here in PA, I closed down on Monday. And it was a really hard decision at first until the governor sent out a letter and said, hey, close down. So it's funny because there was a time in my life, like in my early 20s, where, I was like, no way, Jose. I was like, not having, like, I am strong. But, in this case, what they're saying, I hope everyone understands, is we are strong. We are strong, but we can just be carriers and not show any symptoms from what they're saying. So, like, if the government tells me to do something now, whether it be pay taxes, got my business.
Got to do that.
Like, I really feel like, I feel like it's really important. I hear a lot of massage therapists online wanting everyone to respect us and treat us like we're professionals, that we are doing all these great things. We have all these brilliant terms. We have all these great techniques. Well, in this case, let's show that we're professionals and show the world that we are right on top of things and just shut her down.
Act in the professional way, for sure. I think that the big question then becomes, well, make sure that you are taken care of during this time. So one of the things that Diane and I were talking about right before we went live is the fact that she's got a bunch of employees and she's helping them to file for unemployment. And I think that's the smartest thing. So if you don't know how to file for unemployment, if you don't know how to make the best of this situation in terms of everything financially, logistically, there's lots of resources to make that happen. And I think what's really cool, so people like Diane, who are kind of like, I am your boss and I'm going to help you as your employee to make sure that you guys are taken care of. And there's lots of other people who are doing similar stuff in the world. And I think there is lots of online help about how to make sure you guys are covered for people like us. I mean, similar to Diane, I would argue that massage is a necessary job, but what the governments are saying are close down unnecessary jobs. And so we got to kind of think about that. And in the interim, make sure that we are taken care of. And I think a lot of us maybe have a lot of questions about what that looks like for a massage therapist if you're self-employed or if you're working for a place like Massage Envy or Burke Williams or whatever spot, any of the places. Just make sure that you get to a situation where you can last the 4 or 5 weeks or however long this is going to endure, that we can't actually collect that income. Hopefully we're not living paycheck to paycheck.
And we are an essential business, but we are also a very touchy-feely business. And this is a community spread illness. So again, my suggestion is just shut it down. And one of the things I think that I always do whenever there's some kind of thing that goes wrong or there seems to be a problem, again, like you and I will talk about in our workshop,
Mm-hmm.
Is that it's not a problem, it's an opportunity. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I know there's some people out there struggling. Well, first, one, that's why I chose to have employees, because I knew if anything like this ever happened, that I would be able to have their backs and they would be able to collect unemployment. For the independent contractors out there and self-employed like myself,
Yeah.
you got to plan, you got to save. And again, that's another reason to check in with someone like me or the Rebel, get some mentoring, and make sure that you have everything set up. It's not all
Mm-hmm.
about marketing and techniques and your niche. It's about having some money in the bank.
Right.
It's about
Right.
being prepared for these situations. And like I said,
Right. Having a safety net. Yeah, it's huge. I also think that there's lots of opportunities. I mean, I have said this over and over again, but I'm so glad we live in a world where technology is a thing. Whereas, I think the big conversation that's happening right now is that the last pandemic was the Spanish flu in 1918. And, the world was a very different place in 1918. That was 100 years ago. So to think about the fact that this is happening in a world where A, we can spread communication and be sure that we're protecting ourselves, and B, what can we do online? So you have the resources now. Even if you're not seeing clients every day, you have the resources now to reach out to your clients on a daily basis if you want to, weekly basis, however you want to set it up, but stay in communication with them and be offering tips about how to stay healthy, tips about self-care, tips about management of stress and anxiety. That's the stuff that we excel at. And it is a necessary business. And so even though we may not be able to be with your clients, or you may not be able to be with your clients however often you see them, and face-to-face and in person in a session with that close contact, there are so many options about what to do with this time. A, for your own self and for your own movement forward, and B, for your clients and how to be kind of a mentor and a guide for them. So there's lots of opportunities. I think, starting to set up an email with your clientele base, starting to text your clients and check in with them, and just maintain that base so that when everything is cleared and everybody's ready to get a massage again, because Lord knows
it's going to be amazing.
You're the one that they turn to. That's going to be, you're kind of setting yourself up at this point. So keep that in mind.
Yeah, like I said, and just bouncing again off of that more, because I get so fired up when the Rebel and I talk. Anyway, sorry. So it's staying in touch with people too. Like everything that you've thought about doing for months that you haven't had the time to do, now's the time to do it. Yeah. Like I just put a brand new toilet holder in the bathroom.
Right.
I've been thinking about that for months. So just so you know, Freedom Massage employees, if you are watching, I'm very excited to say that is finally done. So I will have a little extra time too to think about, what we could be doing better, thinking of ways to set up the office in a nicer way. So there's a million things that you can do. Whenever it was slow, I don't even call it slow. What we call it here at Freedom Massage, and I'm going to share it with everyone, is peaceful. It's peaceful. And we also say, and even when the virus was coming, we would say it's peaceful virus time. So it's a time to really self-reflect, figure out, what in my business am I doing well? What am I doing not? What are my lesser strengths? And two, is it working for me to be an independent contractor? Do I want to go and be an employee? Is it working for, am I comfortable being an entrepreneur? And yes, I am. So this is what I'm going to work on while I have this downtime, so all those things, it's like, it's not devastation. It can be a gift to reconnect. I know she wants to talk. Reconnect with your family. Maybe you could have a sexual encounter with your partner that's overdue,
Mm-hmm. She said it.
I said it.
It's human connection. I think that's huge.
I touched my face, but
Oh, so did I. so I'm the same way as you. I get totally like ramped up when I talk to you. I get so excited when I talk to you. I think that you should use Diane's verbiage right there with the peaceful virus time. I think that is massively important, because in my own head, I have felt like this whole time I've been like, this is the universe kind of like, okay, world, you are operating at a pace that is way too fast, and we need to screech on the brakes, and everybody needs to take a deep breath. which is what we're telling our clients all the time. So I feel like this is our opportunity to turn our own advice inward, just like Diane was saying, do all the things that you were going to do. So I know for me, I have a lot of video footage that I'm going to edit the crap out of and produce a lot of online stuff. But it's also like, you know, any reading that you wanted to do, any self-education out there, online education, there's just an unlimited amount of resources out there. And for me, like Diane's kind of like, I want to put in a new toilet seat or whatever, or lift weights or whatever it is. I think that for me, I always turn to education. Like it's always my thing. I always want to kind of like, now I want to sit down and read every single article I've been putting off for months/years and start to make that happen. So I want to just plug a little bit that I'm going to be producing a lot of that stuff. So if you guys are interested in anything that I'm producing, I've got all sorts of resources.
And we have some people on, if anyone wants to let us know what you're up to, what you're doing, any suggestions you have, or any questions.
Yeah, I want to hear.
Be shy.
Yeah, I want to hear for sure.
So, go ahead.
Yeah, I think that in this time in this downtime, it's so easy to kind of turn out and talk about what people should be doing. And the harder thing always to do is take that, whatever you're saying to the outward world and turn it around and kind of go, okay, so what is it? What is all the stuff that I'm saying that the world needs to be doing right now? I should be doing it myself. So think about how to manage anxiety. Think about how to organize your life. Think about how to reassess, like Diane was saying, do I like being an entrepreneur? Do I like being an employee? Like, where is it that I feel comfortable? And take some time and drop in and really answer those questions. Now is the time. Now is the time.
And two, one of our things with our job is, and it used to be more so even in the 90s, was, you know, we have almost this little spiritual side to us too, where, you know, we're like, hey man, kind of peaceful people, you know, we're spiritual people. Well, now's the time to really be spiritual and really practice those trust and that faith and really believing that everything's going to be okay. And this too shall pass, you know?
Yeah.
So it's really trying to show the community what you're made of and who you really are by your actions.
Yeah.
Like people are excited about your video.
I know. I love that I'm seeing those comments and I'm super happy about that. Playing the bongos and getting some spring cleaning. That's awesome. Yeah, stuff like that. So I definitely think that, you know, there's lots of things that are happening that are kind of falling into place to support people like us. I know that the mayor of LA, I think, announced something about a moratorium on evictions. So kind of saying like nobody can get evicted in this time. And I think stuff like that is going to pop up more. And then there are other people who are doing grocery shopping for the elderly and stuff like that. I think that as much as I know, I tend to look out in the world and go, God, people are not very smart in how they're handling this. And people are kind of plowing through and doing all these things that seem very stupid. At the same time, people are doing the most amazing things and humanity is kind of pulling through and amazing things are happening. So trust in that process and allow yourself some time to do exactly what Diane is saying. Like practice that peace and practice that inner self-care and practice that meditation and really do all the things. I don't know. I'm just going to repeat this over and over again because I feel like it can't be emphasized enough. There's just so much to always learn and do and grow when we have to kind of turn inward. And I think this is the absolute perfect time.
And two, and I just want to throw another thing out about what they're saying about the virus, because I really did. I'm not much of a news watcher, honestly, but I was like, you know, of course, glued to the TV yesterday. And one of the things they were saying too is if everyone stayed home, it would just slow it down. So if everyone just followed the guidelines and it was the community spread was not happening anymore, you know, we might be able to kind of slow this thing down. Like Japan slowed it down. So maybe we can do the same. So like I said too, and like the Rebel keeps saying, it's like a really good time to regroup and do some things you might not have been able to do.
Yeah, so immediately my boss was giving me a hard time about how much I was inconveniencing him, but then 3 days, you were smart, and that's good to stand behind what you think. I have a woman, a massage therapist in Italy who's been contacting me and we've been talking and she's been telling me what it's like to see things kind of on the other end of it, where Italy didn't slow things down and now they are literally on lockdown. I mean, we saw them close the borders over a week ago, whenever that was. And she's just kind of saying, I'm telling you, it's for real. And this virus is very, very fast and tricky. So be really careful about how you move forward. And I think that I know that I'm, like Diane was saying earlier, I am the kind of person that's just like, you can't tell me to close down. I'm going to do what I want.
Right?
That person intrinsically. But I guess when there is a pandemic, we need to listen to the world.
To slow it down, trust. Trust that it'll all be okay. And for me, a big word that I love is acceptance. You know, I have to accept that things are exactly as they should be, and I'm going to be taken care of, as will my business.
So somebody just mentioned online, build content. And that is, I don't know, I love that you just said that, because content is something that is it's just such a term in the online world. It is a constant thing that people who are online and have an online presence are always told to build more content. And I think that is so true. And I think, so even if you kind of take a page from my book and you start filming your own videos, even if it's for your own clientele, like take a minute and sit down in front of a camera and even like film a video or two about whatever you want it to be, about self-care, about management of anxiety, about anatomy, about how muscle tissue health works for you, and how it can work for them, or how they can stretch, or how they can strengthen. I mean, whatever it is that you feel like, sit down and build some content and play around with how to use that to your advantage. Build a Facebook page, make sure, if you don't have a website, build your website and start putting stuff out there. And that's stuff that's going to attract and maintain a sense of community, and be a clientele base that's going to keep your business intact. And that's, I think our biggest fear through all of this is what the heck is going to happen financially. So whatever you can do to build content is a massive portion of it, but build your own education, build your own self-care, and make sure you're communicating that with your clients. Like Diane says, be in communication with your clients all the time. It is huge.
I totally agree. And I was going to say something and I totally forget what it was.
Oh, no.
But I think, like I said, one of the things that someone just said too, is, that her clients understood. People will totally understand. And the one thing you can do too, is you can let them know that you're doing this for them. You're doing this for public safety. You're doing it on grounds of that it's state mandated in a lot of areas. So you're just following state regulations. And if it's not in your state, just say that you want to beat the rest of the states and do it in yours first. I love being the first person to send out the email saying, hey, we're closing. I was terrified.
You're in Pennsylvania too, which is one of the worst states.
And I was nervous about closing at first, and then you just have to surrender to what's really happening and what's really important,
No, nobody has mentioned that yet. And that's a really good point. So somebody just popped in and says, has anyone talked about pre-selling packages for massage? So I just offered online. I sent an email out literally an hour ago that I have a sale now going on all of my butters. Because now's the time to kind of like make sure that people are being taken care of as well. So I want anybody who's feeling financially strapped, I want them to know that I'm offering a discount. You can do the same. So offer a package. And now can be the time where you can just kind of say, look, I know that massages are expensive and I know that you might be taking a financial hit. So if you want to kind of like get ahead of the game, here's a deal I'm offering, and start to manage that in some way. There's a lot of people out there who are still financially fine and will take advantage of that. So keep yourselves financially sound. Definitely.
And someone just put, I promote daily habits of movement, spirit, and mind to my clients. And again, like Rebel was saying, I think it's really important to keep that stuff up, and content. Whoever wrote that, thank you very much. Because again, like now is the time to do all the things you think about doing all the time, but are like, I don't have any time to do them. Well, now guess what? You've been blessed with a lot of time. So in that time, you could, help your business get set up and ready to move forward. Or else you could sit and panic and worry and be mad at the world.
Right. Right. Which it sounds like most of us are sitting in a space of being aware of of how to practice gratitude in this time. But I think Diane and I don't ever want to stop enforcing that because it's so incredibly important. And I know personally how easy it is to lose that. I know how easy it is to get swept up in being angry about something or being frustrated or being upset or sad or whatever it is, and to lose the gratitude. So holding on to the gratitude of all the things that are good is really important. The other thing I wanted to say, I forgot, darn it. I think that if you, I was just going to say that you can offer your clients online gift certificate sales. So that's another one. So if people are, if some of your clientele are feeling financially okay and they want to be able to give the gift of massage to somebody else during this stressful time, that might be a good email communication to send out to your clients and offer, gift certificates at maybe a discounted rate or something like that, so that we can be a source of, here's a kindness that I can show you, and here's something, however you want to package that, however you want to sell that. There was something else I was going to say, but I don't remember.
Yeah, I think we've really summed it up. Stay home, stay safe. It sounds like everybody's doing that. And it sounds like a lot of people are trying to keep a positive attitude. But like the Rebel said, you can get in that hole. You can go in the rabbit hole and get way down in that hole and not even be able to see the light anymore. Yeah. Hopefully watching this, hopefully we can boost your spirits. We'll be back on talking about it more. We'll have a little more time, both of us, to do this stuff, and everybody just please hang in there. And again, my favorite quote in the whole, well, one of them, I have a lot of favorite quotes, is it's remember, it's not a problem, it's an opportunity. There's always good on the other side. Just keep hanging in there. And if you have any questions, you need support, you can contact us and we'll be happy to be helpful.
Happy. All right, we love you guys.
All right, be well, stay home, stay safe, and don't touch your face.
I just touched my face.
Bye.
Bye.